Hey Scentsy fans, it's Sarah from Scentsy with Sarah Lynn. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a regular subscriber, welcome back. I am making this little video tutorial, I suppose, for consultants who are looking for creative and unique ways to display Scentsy products without breaking the bank and having to have custom builds made. I know a couple consultants who've gotten lucky. They know people who have closed down retail locations, so they were able to pick up carousel pegboards for their bars, different shelving racks, which seem to work great for them, which that's amazing. If you know someone or if you live in like a metropolitan area where those things are easily accessible to you. I happen to live in a town, a little teeny tiny town in rural southern Ontario with approximately 1,700 people. So unfortunately, I just don't have access to things like that. So it forces me to get creative and use what is available around me. I did refinish this in one of my last Let's Chats. This was a $20 bookshelf purchase off a local buy and sell. It is Canadian made, solid wood. And I didn't even have to sand it down because it was such a well-loved piece of furniture. There was hardly any finish left to it. So I just chalk painted and waxed it, and it's beautiful. I would guess that the piece weighs probably about 65 pounds, so it is within reason for me to be able to carry it to and from shows. Maybe not even 65. Maybe 55 even. So, yeah, and what I've done, I wonder if you'll be able to see it, but I have drilled holes just recently in the back. You can't see it from here. To put the outlet or the electrical cords out the back, and then I'll be able to light my warmers up and create a beautiful eye-catching display. The other piece that I did purchase were these tidy tote wooden crates from my local Walmart. In Canada, I believe the price point on them was $9.99. I've had my eye out for something like this for some time. I found them at Michael's a couple months ago, but they were probably about half the size, and they started at $17, I think, which I would need a lot of them. So I was like, that's crazy. Unless I collected like tons and tons of half price or 40% off Michael's coupons and went in once a week and bought one. I don't have time for that. I have vendor events coming up now. So I was super lucky when I came across these tidy totes at my local Walmart. They're just raw, I don't know what this is, pine probably, wood. They're incredibly sturdy. They have these beautiful handles on them. And I plan on stacking them to create more storage space or unique displays at my events. So they do serve dual purpose because they've got these amazing handles on them. They're going to come in handy for carrying all of my stock, vendor, event, promotional flyers, whatever. I'm thinking I'll likely carry my warmers in here because these are really sturdy. And I like that because I won't have to worry about the bottom falling out of a box and all of my beautiful warmers crashing. So these are going to be amazing. I haven't carted all of this to an event yet, but I am going to do it this Friday. I will let you know how it goes. So this is exactly what I started off with, is just this plain pine crate. So this will be the finished product. So what I've done here is just lightly whitewash paint it with Annie Sloan's Duck Egg Blue, the same color that is on the back of the bookshelf. You would have to look online to find an Annie Sloan distributor near you. Her product is really pricey. If you've never chalk painted before, there are hundreds of different chalk paint available now, also for quite a bit less than Annie Sloan's. I do chalk painting for customers, so I will only use the best of the best, and this was a remainder of what I had left over from a customer's project, so I thought, perfect. These are $9.99 at Walmart, and I've got paint at home to finish them. You don't need to use chalk paint either. I love chalk paint and wax, and I wanted to do them up really nice because I think I'll be able to use them for a long time, whether I'm using them for Scentsy or vendor events or just storage around my house. So I wanted to have them chalk painted and waxed for the longevity of them, but you could use anything really. So this is a finished crate. I'm not sure if my camera will pick it up, but I have gone in there and done some distressing with Annie Sloan's dark wax, and I'm going to show you that process today. So let me show you. This is one that has just been painted, okay? No dark wax on it as of yet. Oh, and sorry, I've got all this stuff on my office floor where usually I paint outside in my shop, so you have to bear with me. Okay, so I have this little tiny crappy old paintbrush. I have bigger brushes for different wax projects, but when I'm working with the dark wax, I want to keep it as controlled as possible. So if I went into this using a giant brush, sorry, I wouldn't get the finish that I want. So that's what the Annie Sloan dark wax looks like. I have had this particular can for 3 years and it's still 3/4 of the way full. I use this often, but I use it so sparingly. This will probably last me 10 years. Unless a customer asks me to do a large piece with dark wax, which is very rare. Usually they want it like antiqued and beachy, or like whitewashed. So very rarely do I get requests for the dark wax. So what I do is I just go in, get a little bit on my brush, and by no means am I giving you a chalk paint tutorial. I'm just gonna quickly show you how I've accomplished this look on my storage totes. So what I do is I let the wood tell me where the distressing parts would be, or I envision where these crates would get the most wear and tear, like around the handles. So if I want them to look used and old, I put this dark wax where I think the wood would get the most wear and tear. Or sorry, the paint. I also tend to put it in the knots. You guys probably can't see this very well. And I know people have asked me, like, how do you know where to do the distressing? Really, you don't. It's just a guessing game. And I am by no means a pro at chalk painting or distressing. I do quite a bit of it. But again, this isn't a tutorial. This is just a way that I can show you how to get some amazing pieces for really cheap. So that's essentially what I do is I go in with this dark wax and just make the piece look aged. I like to do it heavier in the corner areas. And it's more or less like trial and error with dark wax, and always a little dab will do you. You can always add more. Can't take away. Well, you can, but again, that's not a tutorial. I'm not getting into that. But I like to just add a little bit, and then if I want more distressing in effect, I add more, so on and so forth. So I'm going to do this one later. I'm going to move right on to the next stage, which is the clear coat. So as you can see here, this one has the dark wax in certain places, just randomly. And again, I followed the patterns and the dings, the divots in the wood. I do around the handles where it would get the most wear and tear, the sides. So then what you're going to do is take Annie Sloan's clear wax, and today I'm just using a simple rag, and again, even with the clear wax, just a little dab will do ya. And this is going to be a terrible video because you probably won't be able to see, but I rub this in, and can you see where it's starting to look wet? Also, depending on how hard you rub over that dark wax, I find it blends it in to the grain of the wood, making it look more authentic and less like I put it there. The clear wax is the final finish on a chalk paint project. If you are going to go the chalk painting route, always get the same wax. So I use Annie Sloan's paint and I use Annie Sloan's wax. I wouldn't advise mixing two different brands, but you can use whichever brand you have or whichever brand is easiest for you to obtain, because Annie Sloan does only have certain distributors. And I didn't want this to be a perfect paint job. Like, there's spots where you can clearly see that the wood is coming through, because I wanted it to have that aged, distressed look to it. The clear wax seals your paint job, makes it water resistant. So now if Ella Bella, my 19-month-old, spills something on this, speaking of that turkey, she's out there being crazy for her big sister. This does have fumes to it, henceforth I shut the door because I don't want her breathing this in. I usually do this out in the garage, but for the sake of this video and having a little bit better light, I brought it into the house. So maybe I'll be able to show you on this side. See this part where it's really dark? I just rub in as hard or as light as you want it. If you like the dark wax to look heavy, don't rub it as hard. If you want to soften it up or move it around a bit, that's what the clear wax will accomplish. So you have to make sure that you're careful of where you start and where you leave off. You can always tell, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to tell in this light, where the wax leaves off, because it is a different color. This looks wet or darker, and this area is not. It's just the plain paint. Yeah, so this will protect it if I'm carrying my totes in the rain, if I happen to spill coffee on it. It won't stain the paint. You can clean it right off. It does require some time to cure, so that's why I'm in a hurry to get them done, because I'm filming this on the 6th and I have a show in 4 days. So I've also decided to keep, so this is my finished one, and we'll get there. I just have to finish the dark wax on this one, clear wax, and then come back and clear wax this one again, so I'll have this finished look. I've decided to keep a couple of these just plain wood. I haven't done anything to this one yet. I'll turn these around to show you. But I thought it would be cute if I stack them alternately with finished ones and just wooden ones. So I took the plain one, I kind of went in with dark wax again and distressed it a little bit so it didn't look perfect and brand new in comparison to the duck egg ones, right? So then I'm just going to go ahead and build a riser, kind of like as you see here. I wonder if I can move this and show you. So eventually, when they're all done, I'm going to fill them with beautiful Scentsy products at a show. And I think think I've got 12 of them now. So between this display, my 12 boxes, I'll put some on the floor and build kind of like a shelving unit like this, as well as I'll have, let's see if this will reach, as well as I will have my 6-foot table. So I'll be able to display some of these boxes as different levels on my 6-foot table as well. So that is it. Hopefully I'll have this finished and be able to put a picture of my finished display in the thumbnail. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, ring the bell for future content notifications. If you have creative, amazing ideas, put them in the comments down below. Us Scentsy consultants need to band together and help one another out. I understand you don't want to go out and sink a boatload of money into this, but between these shelves, using products I already had at home, and finding something at a garage sale, I have spent under $150 Canadian to make my next Scentsy event a true showstopper. So if you've got ideas, leave them in the comments below. Email me, message me. I'll put my email down there. Send me pictures. And yeah, we'll definitely help our Scentsy sisters out and teach one another how to do this for really unique and inexpensive ways. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.